Cips clips. And remember, citizens, always subscribe and hit the bell. Everything will be well with 1995. Plus shipping and handling will keep you out of hell. Why does a dog wag its tail? Because a dog is smarter than its tail. If the tail were smarter, the tail would wag the dog. Wag the dog in politics is the act of creating diversion from a damaging issue. Here at Wag the Dog News, the tail doesn't wag the dog. Enjoy. Cips clip. And remember, citizens, always subscribe. Hit the bell. Everything will be well. 1995. Plus shipping and handling will keep you out of hell. Alright, boob tubes, another one of Kip's clips. I'm just beginning to wonder. I could hear that. Anyway, welcome one and all. As I said, Monday, Friday, 1 o'clock. I'll be here, do afternoon news. Just take a different approach every day. Have a wee shifty around, see what's out there. See what different sides of the double barrel bullshit are saying. If you do appreciate Wag the Dog News, stick a wee thumbs up. Sorry for the break, but my computer was broke. Spilt a full pint of cider right over the top of it, but I managed to change a few parts and get it working again, so I shall be doing this regularly once more. So in the afternoon, one and all. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to check out the BBC headlines and then bounce over onto the Sky Newsies and watch the daily news as reported via Sky News. Yesterday I had a look at Great Britain News, GB News, Nigel Farage TV, and the newly out the rapper TV channel, radio station come new TV channel, Talk Radio stroke TV, Talk TV stroke radio, whatever way you want to look at it, which is Rupert Murdoch, under the Rupert Murdoch umbrella, media empire umbrella, and coincidentally so is Sky News. Sky News is like right wing light, you know, under the table, tickle your balls, right wing, and GB News, which can in Britain is now can now exist overtly because of the support harnessed through Brexit. Is now overtly balls out, unapologetic right wing TV news channel. But of course, just like the BBC is independent, so is GB News, apparently. But why don't you go and watch it and make your own mind up? And I think you'll find that they ain't as independent as they may first report. So have a wee look at just the headlines. Afternoon, Stewie. Afternoon, Roberto.
Boris Johnson addresses Ukraine's parliament here in Kyiv via video link. He describes Ukraine's resistance to the Russian invasion as this country's finest hour. He is the first world leader to address the Ukrainian parliament since the start of the war. He tells MPs here that Ukraine will win and will be free.
I'm pretty sure they said the exact same shit about Syria. How did that work out for you, Bojo?
Meanwhile, Ukrainian soldiers in the besieged southern city of Mariupol say Russian troops are using planes, tanks and missiles fired from warships to bombard the steelworks where hundreds...
Oh my fucking lord! Stop the press! Headlines on the BBC. The Russian army are using guns, bombs and bullets and planes and tanks. I'm pretty sure they might even be using guns. How ridiculous is this pish?
Of civilians are still trapped.
Half of the city is destroyed. Where can I go? You wake up in the morning and you cry.
Go to your new capital, your newly renamed capital of Kyiv!
You cry in the evening. I don't know where to go at all.
On her return to work here in Kyiv, the British ambassador to Ukraine tells us of her shock at seeing the devastation around this city.
And the other...
Just want to hold it there, right? Because like when the Western media just barrage you with fucking emotional blackmail bullshit like that, and it's not to say one word of it is lies. I mean, no doubt Russia is kicking the fuck out of fucking Ukraine, and civilians, if they aren't fucking so stupid not to leave a war zone when they've got the option to leave. I mean, we're sitting watching on the BBC, the Western press telling you that hundreds of civilians were allowed to leave yesterday, and then in the next fucking breath showing you video footage claiming that there's like 4-month-old sitting down in a nuclear bunker. You're like, cuckoo! Who the fuck's parents are fucking keeping a fucking 4-month-old in a war zone when there is a get out of Dodge fucking free card on the table? You know what I mean? It's just like, it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make... Ask Spock. Ask Spock. What would Spock do? Now, people's memory might be like fucking Dory, or something out of Nemo, something Finding Nemo. Right, Abu Ghraib, or however you pronounce that bullshit. Does anybody remember that? Hello McFly, hello McFly. Does anybody remember this? What did the British ambassador fucking to Iraq, Japan, and fucking Pakistan say about this shit? Eh? What they said about this shit at the time? Anybody remember that? Lovely footage brought to you by fucking clandestine spy Assange. Anybody remember that shit? And that's only the stuff that gets leaked. This is the shit that goes on every day in fucking every armed forces fucking up and down the fucking world, regardless of what fucking retarded accent they have. What else have we got here? Oh, here's the lovely love bombs and bullets and the spreading of freedom and democracy in Iraq. Oh, I couldn't believe the destruction in Iraq. Oh, look, look, they've been killing the children. They've been bombing playgrounds and schools. Oh, oh my God, fucking insincere fucking bullshit agents. Anybody remember seeing Colonel Gaddafi getting killed? And how they raped him with a gun? That's them sticking a gun up his ass just before beating him up and killing him and all that. Live on YouTube. Yeah, brought to you with the social medias, you know. And these were the people that were backed by the moral West. You know, the people that are now trying to sit in ivory towers and say that when we have war, we don't kill anybody. When we have war, we use airsoft bullets. Fucking retards. You can actually, I think you can actually, here's the...
We find this handgun on him. And another...
Right, I think that's France 24 maybe. Or the Daily Motion, but like France 24 because allegedly it was Sarkozy that wanted Gaddafi took out because of the secrets Gaddafi could tell about the monetary goings on between him and Sarkozy and Sarkozy's party. But that was just a rumour at the time. But then, obviously, somebody was paid to kill Gaddafi right there and then. But remember, they are all
main headlines here this
immoral.
lunchtime. Profits at BP more than doubled the first 3 months of the year, prompting more debate about a windfall tax.
Can you afford to gas and electricity in the UK nowadays? British Petroleum's loving the price hikes.
On energy giants.
I remember I used to work for British Gas, right, and it was before I had I would say a moral compass, man. I was a young guy, and you put bonuses in front of you for fucking switching people over for their gas and electric. So you weren't really bumping them in the sense that you were selling them shit they didn't need, but you were getting them to switch over using a wee bit of Judai mind tricks and jiggery pokery. And I made a fuck. See when price increases came in, it was the business, because most people don't even fucking hear about it. And if you're good at telesales, which I was extremely good at, that doesn't matter a fuck. And British Gas put the fucking bonuses up through the roof because they thought sales would get hot. I was honestly, see, I was earning funny money. And they were wondering why I wasn't turning up for work on a Monday. I've got more money than I can spend, and I'm in my early 20s. The fuck do you think's going to happen on a Monday morning? But that's just myself. But anyway, let's have a wee listen to their profits.
Pro-life campaigners gather at the US
Oh, Jim Dowson will be coming in his pants.
Supreme Court after a leaked document suggests the legal right to abortion in the US could be overturned. And also this hour, the vintage gown on a modern celebrity. Kim Kardashian wears Marilyn Monroe's iconic JFK dress to the Met Gala in New York.
And coming up on the BBC News channel, he's won a
Right. Need to be very careful about showing any football because that shit gets fucking stuff shut down. Exactly, Paul. In the afternoon, Paul. How you doing, man? Right, let's get this shit up and go. Here we go. So you've seen the BBC headlines. Let's see what Sky News is hitting.
Sky News at 1. These are our headlines. The legal right to abortion is under threat in the United States. A leaked document shows Supreme Court justices.
Right, first thing of note is what comes up first. The BBC, with its in British intelligence service influences, prioritise the war in Ukraine. I think that's what they led with, if memory serves. Which it usually doesn't. And Sky News, Rupert Murdoch, with whatever alliances you believe he does and doesn't have, is leading with the abortion law, which, by the way, was facilitated by Donald Trump and his jiggery pokery in the Supreme Court. And just him tipping the scales towards King Dongs that are more along these lines. And more and more and more and more you see these things in America materialising. And I'm not asking you to agree or disagree. That isn't the fucking point here. The point is they point out how these agendas and opinions of these topics are getting drip-fed into the consciousness. They might not tell you what you think, they'll tell you what you think about. So everybody's now sitting talking about this shit. And the scales are tipping towards... This is a polarising fucking topic, fucking full stop, man. I know where my head's at, man. I don't want to go back to the place where women were getting coat hangers used in back alleys because abortion was illegal. But my personal opinion is, here in the UK anyway, it's far too easy for women to rock up and get an abortion. And also, for obvious reasons, I think the fucking man should be involved in the fucking decision-making process as well. Not that, like, the man should make the decision, but there should be a fucking discussion, including the fucking dude, before anybody pulls a fucking trigger. That's just my personal opinion. I don't want to force it on anybody, it's just where my head's at. I don't need any of this shit to fucking tell me one way or the other, because my opinion isn't based on religion either. It's not fucking based on any shit like that. Women, there's definitely circumstances, and women should have the choice, and the couple should have the choice. I just don't think it should be, there shouldn't be an industry making profit on it, right? That's the fucking one thing that I fucking find fucked up. Because as soon as you've got profit, you've got people, people when there's profit involved are capable of all sorts of fucking scumbaggery. So you need, for me personally, I would try and break that link, and I wouldn't make it as easy. I would bring more people in the decision-making process. It wouldn't just be as simple as rocking up and getting it done right there and then, more or less, sometimes, depending on the circumstance. Anyway, I digress.
A change to the law. This is your finest hour. Boris Johnson salutes Ukraine's resolve during an address to the parliament in Kiev. BP reports its best quarterly results in a decade, despite writing down the value of its Russian assets. The parents of Madeleine McCann say they still need answers 15 years to the day after she disappeared. And security concerns around the Queen after...
Mate, I know fucking a lot of people love all that child sacrifice shit and all that, man, right? And who am I to tell you what you think? You think what you want. My personal opinion is that's a load of fucking, a barrage of fucking bullshit to tickle the balls of some people by religious fanatics who want to impose their fanatical religious beliefs on other people. And that includes their fanatical religious beliefs when it comes in and around abortion. Where I've got my Spock fucking ears on, my Spock uniform. I'm approaching it from a logical perspective, and a lot of us nowadays don't have the memory of when women would go down back alleys and get coat hangers shoved up their fannies to fucking get rid of unwanted babies. That isn't a place where you want to go back to. So there has to be some sort of a facilitation of abortion there for people who choose to do that. I'm not a fan of abortion, by the way. I'm not. I fucking clearly stated that, but I also understand that there's going to be circumstances when, regardless of fucking whether it's legal, a medical procedure, or a coat hanger, women are going to get abortions. Anyway, but see all that cremation of care stuff and all that, that's Alex Jones fucking madness, used to fucking, bring people in that like the X-Files and all that. And I love that shit as well, mate. I love all that stuff. I'm fascinated with all that stuff, and I'm interested in it, and I do touch base with it and all that. But it doesn't relate to reality. You know what I mean? See, when a woman fucking has to get an abortion because of X, Y, or Z, because our fucking dad, because our father fucked her, she's pregnant, and she doesn't know what to do. That is, she isn't going, a cremation occur, kill the babies. She's thinking, oh fuck, I need to get out of, I need a solution to this problem. And regardless if it's right or wrong, that's throughout time has been a solution many women come to, whether it be a coat hanger or a medical procedure, and I vote for a medical procedure when women choose to do that. Call me crazy.
An intruder reportedly spent the night at a barracks with Royal Guardsmen. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Sky News at 1. The US Supreme Court could be about to overturn the nationwide legal right to abortion in America. A leaked
By the way, I actually agree with what's happening in America right now. You get away from all the bullshit. Uh-oh. I've lost my pipe. Where's my pipe go? What? You get away from all the bullshit. What's happened is they're working on scrapping Roe versus Wade, or whatever it's called, which is a universal legal right for abortion in every fucking state in the America. What they're looking to do now is to allow individual states to make up their own regulations, governance and stuff in and around abortion, which the whole idea of America in its inception was for the states to be independent and have the ability to govern themselves, which having the ability to choose the rules and regulations and how they want to govern abortion in their state would be.
Document shows the majority of justices sitting on the court are behind the move. If a change is made, it will be left to individual states to decide their own abortion laws. Well, news of the potential change sparked protests overnight outside the US Supreme Court.
I absolutely have to be out here because this is something that affects me so personally and hurts so much to know that might be ripped away from me.
The unborn are human, and we've been killing them in the past to the tune of millions. And so...
We've been sacrificing them to cat Bohemian Grove!
I have no words.
You can tell she owns a AR-15.
I have no words.
Well, such a decision by the Supreme Court would overturn Roe v. Wade, the Supreme Court ruling from 1973, which effectively legalized abortion across the United States. Yesterday, a draft opinion leaked from the US Supreme Court revealed a majority of justices are prepared to overturn the historic decision and another landmark abortion ruling from 1992. If this were to happen, the legality of abortion would be left to individual states, around half of whom would severely restrict abortion access, largely by implementing so-called trigger laws that would go into effect immediately after the Supreme Court decision. By contrast,
how funny is that? It's called trigger laws. This subject should be fucking governed with triggered laws, man. It triggers every cunt into fucking want to kill each other. How dare you kill the babies? I'm gonna fucking shoot you, you bastard! Ah!
16 states and the District of Columbia have policies that explicitly protect the right to abortion. Our US correspondent Greg Milam has more.
Well, we're expecting the Supreme Court to issue its opinion in the next few weeks. They've been looking at a number of cases. And if their ruling is in line with this draft opinion, then it would be hugely significant for the US. It would see an immediate ban in a number of states. It is a draft ruling, as I say. It was written by Samuel Alito, who's one of the more conservative justices on the Supreme Court. It's extraordinary. It's leaked. Nothing ever leaks out of the Supreme Court. But in that draft, he said that not only should the justices side with those few states they're looking at their cases of, but also they should overturn what's called Roe v. Wade. Now, that's the ruling back from 1973 that enshrines the constitutional right to seek an abortion. The justices have been deliberating since December. They're expected to rule, as I say, in the next few weeks. And the question always was, how far would they go? Would they overturn Roe v. Wade? This ruling, this draft, seems to suggest that's the way they're going. The court, of course, is very conservative at the moment. 3 appointees by Donald Trump changed the makeup there.
The irony, right? So let's just say, for example, it's going to cause riots anyway, right? Which is going to have adults like trying to harm each other. Saying that they're protecting some shit or they're doing good. It's craziness, and it's like it's so predictable. It is so predictable.
The impact would be a dozen states almost immediately, as I say, banning abortion. More would follow. 17 would have protections, but it would be a
Age of Crocodile. What do you mean civil war? What do you mean, sorry, Sharia law? Sorry,
to legalise again. You mentioned Hillary Clinton saying an utter disgrace.
In America?
Nation, Nancy Pelosi said, stripping bodily autonomy from women, but we await that final ruling from the Supreme Court.
Well, like, fucking Nancy Pelosi, if she can string a sentence together. they're no stripping autonomy away. What they're doing is they're handing back states' rights. So, for example, I don't know, let's go like in the Bible Belt, take a state in the Bible Belt who the vast majority, democracy, apparently, ruled by majority, although we all know. We don't all know, but I fucking know. Democracy is nothing but a scam. Democracy scam. It's ruled by minority, not majority. Go and look at the fucking figures, and they only need to buy so many house niggers and boom shakalaka and control of the whole fucking shop. Anyway. Oh, aye, sorry. So they're just giving back states' rights. This is the crux of the matter. States' rights. So the argument's going to get lost here with the banning, or like, look at the way it's been worded and all that. Look at the way I've worded this fucking video. Abortion under threat in the United States. Is it fuck? They're going to govern it differently from state by state, so a state can govern themselves the way they want to govern that. Whether you agree or disagree, it's democracy in play, or democracy scam in play. And let's say, like the pregnant woman as in state that doesn't allow fucking abortions she just goes to another state that allows it, and we'll get it done, no problem at all, no questions asked. Actually, cha-ching. So this isn't going. It's going to make it harder. And me personally, I have no problem with making abortion harder. Banning it? No. Making it harder? All good. Giving back state, regardless of the topic or the law the state wants to govern, giving back states the rights to govern themselves. What's wrong with that? So this argument's going to get lost in abortion, when in reality it's about states' rights. And then what's going to happen is you can have the debate about abortion and the regulations and all that shit behind it within the state. Democracy in action, folks. Instead of all this browbeating, because you know it's going to be trial by social media, trial by media, browbeating. It's already getting framed as like some sort of a war on abortion. Anyway.
The Prime Minister has announced a new £300 million package of military aid for Ukraine in an address to Ukraine's parliament. Boris Johnson will become the first world leader to address the Verkhovna Rada since the war began. Well, on the ground, the mayor of Mariupol says evacuees
killing each other post-ironically, I know, mate.
In Zaporizhia today, they consist mostly of women, children,
marriage laws need to change.
Brought out of the Azovstal steel plant with the help of the UN and the Red Cross.
What is awaiting on the buses, we do not know. We are ready for all what you just mentioned. Burns, fractures.
She blind or something? What's going on, man? Hey, I'm in a war zone, but I can still look like a rock and roll fucking star. It's like your style.
And wounds as well.
As if she's even Ukrainian and in Ukraine.
Diarrhea, respiratory infections, and we are also ready to.
Did she just say I'm speaking verbal diarrhea?
Children, malnutrition. We are all here and.
Why aren't the children on the buses getting out of Dodge?
Another child hurt in a Russian missile attack on the port city of Odessa. The Ukrainian military says it hit a residential building where 5 people had been sheltering in the basement. Ukraine said
it's either the missile went wrong or Russia had intelligence that people of interest were staying there. I mean, the news reports this shit, expecting you to be so naive as to not understand that there will be military assets hiding out, bunkering down within residential areas, and Russia's obviously shown that if they do get wind of that, they'll fucking hit them. Which is what you do in war. Like, see if I was in a war zone and I was a civilian, I would get to fuck. Go to Kyiv. Go to Poland.
As Russia has also been attacking a strategic road and rail bridge west of Odessa. The satellite image shows the bridge still standing yesterday afternoon. If it's destroyed, it would cut off a supply route for weapons from neighbouring Romania.
Oh, surprise, surprise. It's been hot about 3-4 times, that
Well,
bridge.
as we were saying, Boris Johnson has echoed Winston Churchill in an address to Ukraine's parliament, praising the country's finest hour. We've just had that speech in from Number 10. Here's what Boris Johnson said to Ukrainian MPs.
Well, Paul, French do have style, so maybe she was a French Ukrainian.
Thank you very much, Mr. President Volodymyr
Mr.
Zelensky, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, what's his cunt's name again? Where am I? This is a party. I'm not allowed to go to parties. So now COVID's over. Thank you, Ukraine war, for First of all, I'd like to thank you, the Ukrainian war, for curing COVID. Thank you very much.
Members of the Verkhovna Rada, it is a big honour for me to address you at this crucial moment in history. And I salute the courage with which you are meeting today, the way you have continued to meet in spite of the barbaric onslaught on your freedoms. Day after day,
as opposed to what we done with our love bombs and bullets, and we were shitting and farting rainbows all over the Iraqis. Yes, when we went in, yes, that's what we done. We shat and fucking spewed and pissed rainbows. My Little Pony rainbows and Care Bears everywhere all over Iraq, you see, when we went in and spreaded our freedoms into Operation Fuck Up Iraq and call it fucking good. Yes, my friends, thank you very much for for the barbarians at the door. Do you know how long we've been using that word barbarians? I remember in school getting shown World War I and World War II posters, and it was showing a big monkey with a big club, and it had the fucking German spiky hat on, and it was like, I think the monkey had fucking a English woman over his shoulder as well. I'm still using that exact same fucking bullcrap fucking shit. Anyway, sorry man, I can't, it's just hard to stomach this absolute fucking drivel.
Missiles and bombs continue to rain on the innocent people of Ukraine, and in the
as opposed to the fucking Iraqis that should burn in fucking hell. You know, I remember the good old days when we went to Iraq, and yes, as I said, there was no innocent people getting shit done to them. No, we weren't actually torturing them. No, we weren't dressing them up in hoods and attacking electrodes to them, getting them to pose naked and sending the pictures home for shits and giggles with my friends and family. No, we weren't doing that. Not to mention fucking Gitmo. We spread love bombs and bullets. When we torture people, we torture them with Care Bears and love and affection. Look at the smiling face here. You can clearly see the affection that this stupid little girl is using during the torture of Iraqis in Abu Ghraib. Not to mention the WikiLeaks picture. Oh, not to mention the gun up Gaddafi's ass by Western-backed militias who were sent to murder Gaddafi because of his financial goings-on with President Sarkozy. Nothing to see here. You see, we only use love bombs and bullets and Care Bears and My Little Ponies with rainbows when we are spreading our democracy around the world.
South and the east, of your wonderful country, Putin continues with his grotesque.
I don't know if you remember, very earlier on I said that fucking Russia's just trying to slice off the east. I got the fucking dimensions wrong. I thought they were going to push up to the river, but that doesn't make sense because the fucking Ukrainians will defend that fucking within an inch of their life, because Kiev is up on the western bank of the river. I don't know if it's on the eastern bank as well, but anyway.
And illegal campaign to take and hold Ukrainian soil. And his soldiers no longer have the excuse of not knowing what they are doing. They are committing war crimes. And their atrocities emerge wherever they are forced to retreat, as we've seen at Bucha, at Irpin, at Hostomel, and many other places. And we in the UK will do whatever we can to hold them to account for these war crimes. And in this moment of uncertainty, of continuing fear and doubt about the future, I have one message for you today. Ukraine will win.
The 12th of and 7. Somewhere over the southeastern neighborhood of Iraq's capital, Baghdad, this US Army
Ukraine
helicopter was on a routine
will be
patrol
free.
searching for Iraqi hostiles.
And I'll tell you why I believe you will succeed, dear members of the RADA. When they came to me last year and they said that there was now overwhelming evidence that Putin was planning an invasion, and we could see his battalion tactical groups, well over 100 of them, gathering on the border, I also, I remember a sense of horror, but also of puzzlement. Because I'd been to Kiev on previous visits, and I think I'd met some of you, and I'd stood in the Maidan, and I'd seen the tributes to those who had given their lives to protect Ukraine against Russian aggression. And I've wandered the lovely streets of your capital, and I've seen enough about Ukrainian freedom to know that the Kremlin was making a fundamental miscalculation, a terrible mistake, and I told everybody I knew.
We could go into drone strikes.
That Ukraine would fight,
I mean, the list is endless.
Right. And yet there were some who believed the Kremlin propaganda that Russian armor would be like an irresistible force going like a knife through butter and Kiev would fall in days. Do you remember?
I think you'll find that was the Western propaganda. I dare anybody to go and find Putin. Direct quotes from Putin, him talking about the special operation being a couple of days and it'll be like a knife through butter. I mean, like, it's mental. See, when you actually do, like, sort of listen to both sides, and or when you don't just listen to one side. It's amazing the bullshit that these people try and get away with, and successfully get away with. But what they do is they talk in if, buts and maybes. Right? I.e. they've always got plausible deniability. Like, they're all out there saying that Putin's threatening nuclear weapons. Putin hasn't uttered the word nuclear weapons. So he's threatened using nuclear weapons without actually using the fucking words nuclear weapons or nuke or fucking mushroom cloud or anything like that. Oh, fuck, honestly, it's fucking hilarious.
Remember they said that, and people rang Volodymyr and they offered him safe passage out of the country, and he said no thanks. And they said that this RADA of yours
Well, see to prosecute war crimes, you have to participate in the International Criminal Court, I think it's called, right? Or whatever it's called. I forget the right name for it now. Hey, do you want to know one country that doesn't participate in it? USA! USA! For some of the reasons I just showed you, while Bojo was fucking putting himself on some sort of a fucking pedestal of fucking morality. The West will save you freedom for big bad fucking Russia. Right, let's get this straight. the West invaded, or the West propagated a coup inside fucking Ukraine to kick out Yanukovych, who was pro-Russian, before any of this shit. This is Russia's reaction. They're going to snap off the Donbass and all that shit and fucking annex it and all that like they did Crimea. And the West will be going, oh, they've illegally stole that, they've illegally stole that. But what they'll do is they'll go and they'll do elections. And because the people that are fucking living there, the vast majority of them want to be under the Russian Federation, they'll win the elections. And then then they'll need to forget about the United Nations Charter that says that every country should have every people should have the right of self-determination. Which you need to forget about when it comes to Crimea, because Russia held elections. But of course, Britain and American elections good, elections in Crimea bad, although the demographic just speaks for itself. Anywho. See if I can get through this shite.
Would have to be reformed outside Ukraine, maybe even in Poland or in London, perhaps. And I refused to believe it. And today, you have proved them completely wrong. Every one of those military experts who said that Ukraine would
Putin didn't talk about nuking anybody. It's Russian Western spin after he says there would be consequences or some shit. Was he just talking about tractors there? Was he trying to search for porn?
Your pensioners stood up in the road and told Russian soldiers to hop it, as we say, or they may have used more colourful language than that. And even in the parts of Ukraine that were temporarily captured, your populations, your indomitable populations,
what's wrong with him? He can't speak
day after day. And though your soldiers were always outnumbered, 3-1 it is now, they fought with the courage and the energy of lions.
No, they didn't. They fought with Western weapons, and if they didn't, they would have been fucked.
You have exploded
They fought with the money of the West that we haven't got because of a pandemic fucking recession, apparently.
In military history and in the life of your country. The so-called irresistible force of Putin's war machine has broken on the immovable object of Ukrainian patriotism and love of country. This is Ukraine's finest hour that will be remembered and recounted for generations to come.
I don't think Russia wants a first strike. I don't think anybody wants a first strike. Like, this is no different from what happened inside Syria in the sense it's the West, certain elements versus Russia.
By their tenacity
and nobody's going to start pulling out fucking nuclear bombs because of fucking little skirmishes like this. I know the news builds it up to be the biggest thing since fucking sliced bread, but it's the same as every fucking... I fell for that during Syria. I was convinced it was going to be World War III because it was Russia and the West fucking slugging out with each other. It doesn't happen that way, man. It's warfare by fucking under the table. They use proxies all the time. The West has already came out and said, look, all we're doing is going to give you hundreds of weapons and fucking let you fight it. It's the West's fucking fight, but they ain't going to do it directly, so they're using a proxy, but it's still NATO elements. That's where they're getting all their weapons for, versus Russia.
Deeper and perhaps equally
don't fall for the fucking Armageddon fucking doomsayers, man.
Folly that Putin has made. When a leader rules by fear, and when he rigs his elections, and when he jails his critics, and he refuses to have a free media, and he listens just to sycophants, and when there's no limits on his power, that is when
has he talked about Tony Blair now?
Catastrophic mistakes. And it's precisely because we understand this danger in Britain and in Ukraine.
Europeans didn't think Putin would invade Ukraine. Mate, before Russia invaded Ukraine, all we had on the news was fucking the news telling us that Russia was going to invade Ukraine.
Such as your own. We know.
Come on, man. Honestly, get your news for fucking different fucking ports of call, man. Not one fucking paradigm, man. Fucking some sort of a fucking sounds like some fundamental Christian that wants trying to bring on Armageddon that you're listening to, man.
Believe it. But he's sowing the seeds of catastrophe for himself and for
exactly, Paul. This war has been going on for 8 years, mate. It started with Maidan. It started when the West overthrew Yanukovych to stop him gearing the Ukrainian economy, the breadbasket of Europe, to the Russian Federation. The European Union and the Western elements didn't want Russia having not only Europe with the balls with gas, but Europe with the balls with food and grain as well. Because I don't know if you know this, Ukraine is the breadbasket of Europe. Even though I don't strictly classify it as Europe. But that's where we get a lot of our grain feed and shit like that. If Russia had complete influence of that shit, they would have double whammy influence over the West at a time when they're having conflicts. That's why Ukraine is such an important fucking sticking bit. And as Paul said, I think it was 8 years ago, give or take a year, when you had Maidan. Go and look at the video footage of Maidan and tell me that's normal citizens protesting. It was fucking armed mobs using military tactics to fuck up the fucking riot police so they could overthrow Yanukovych administration and then input a pro-EU administration. That's when all this happened. Russia's just went like that, fuck yous, we're actually going in with soldiers this time, boots on the ground. At least fucking Russia are doing it fucking honestly, instead of like fucking, oh look, it's the Ukrainian people fighting for freedom. Fucking
what happened in 2014.
Freedom's just a tagline used to fucking tickle people's balls to get them to accept shite.
And the war in the Donbass began. And the truth is that we were too slow to grasp what was really happening. And we collectively failed to impose the sanctions then that we should have put on Vladimir Putin. And we cannot make the same mistake again. And it's precisely because of your valor, your courage, your sacrifice, that Ukrainians now control your own destiny. And you are the master.
Aye, you control your own destiny as long as we keep giving you fucking weapons. Fucking hell, man. These cunts think that people are stupid. Oh, that's right.
And we are proud to be your friends. And I'm proud that our ambassador, Melinda Simmons, is back in Kyiv. I know you know Melinda. To reopen our embassy. And in January, of course, as you were kind enough to say, Mr. Chairman, just before Putin launched his onslaught, we sent you plane loads of anti-tank missiles, the NLAVs, which I think have now become popular in Kiev and elsewhere. And we have intensified that vital effort, working with dozens of countries, helping to coordinate an ever bigger
and get used hundreds of weapons to kill hundreds of Russians with our rainbow
weapons of every kind, including tanks now and armored vehicles.
Fucking hell, they're actually getting tanks.
We'll be sending you Brimstone anti-ship missiles and Stormer anti-aircraft systems, and we're providing armored vehicles to evacuate civilians from areas.
Must be some surplus or something.
What Volodymyr mentioned to me in our most
I just love the way that there's a lovely wee war chest tucked away somewhere. And they pretend we're skint all the time. 300 million.
Totaling £300 million, including radars to pinpoint the artillery bombarding your cities, heavy lift drones to supply your forces, and thousands of night vision devices. We will carry on supplying Ukraine alongside your other friends with weapons, with funding.
BAE will be loving this, man. He'll be like, alright, overtime, everybody! Quick, up production! Cha-ching, cha-ching!
Ukraine, that no one will ever dare attack you again. Here in the UK, in my country, you will see Ukrainian flags flying everywhere, from church spires and in shop windows. You see Ukrainian ribbons on the lapels of people up and down.
Yes, everybody's been brainwashed by a good campaign.
Why your country has evoked such astonishing sympathy in the British people.
Because she's all white with blonde hair and blue eyes. Come and stay in my house, refugees. But we don't want the ones with the brown people in boats. Fuck off. Go to Zimbabwe or wherever we're fucking Rwanda or wherever we're sending you. But blonde hair, blue eyes. One batter in. One in my jacuzzi. Oh, good baby.
Imperialist revanchism. It's about Ukrainian democracy against Putin's tyranny. It's about freedom versus oppression.
I'm no joking, I don't know why, but this is Boris Johnson's making me hungry. Is it because he's a fat bastard?
Why Ukraine must win. And when we look at the heroism of the Ukrainian people and the bravery of your
I've got some leftover KFC for last night, man. That'll be getting heated up.
That Ukraine will win. And we in the UK
in the
will do everything we can
Lieutenant Jedi the Third,
sovereign,
Senior.
independent Ukraine. Thank you all very much for listening to me
how
today.
you doing?
And Slava
Stewie,
Ukraine.
Paul.
Thank you.
Slava Ukraine.
Boris Johnson
to
the Ukrainian Parliament, the first foreign
See that?
to do that. Let's bring in our security.
As of
defense
fucking
Deborah Haynes, who's in Kiev, with her reaction to that. Strong words.
Kiev. You're getting sat 10 in the morning.
No moral ambiguity, and also a hefty sum of money that the UK is going to be sending further to Ukraine.
Yes, just pull the money out her ass.
From Boris Johnson will be well received by MPs and by the public here in Ukraine. He is incredibly popular over here. He has been a leader that's seen to have been one of the most supportive of the Ukrainian effort here and the most outspoken against Russia's war machine in this country. And so the friendship.
You're right, a true democracy hasn't existed in the sense that rule by majority, because we're sold democracies are ruled by majority, right? But they aren't, man. You go and look at the figures. These aren't they? I can't find anywhere in the world where it's ruled by majority. And then you come along and you've got every fucking Tom, Dick and Harry, every freak of the circus party to fucking vote for, which waters down the vote even more, so that the ruling... I done the figures for the last general election that got the Conservatives in, man, and it was like, I think it was like 12, 13, 14... I done it at the time, it's on one of my videos. 12, 13, 14 million that voted for them, and that got them full control of the country, a country of 66 million people. Ooh, democracy scam. Anyway.
As well, between Boris Johnson and Volodymyr Zelensky, the president, has also been pretty notable. Volodymyr Zelensky picked up the phone first to Boris Johnson when Russian missiles started landing, exploding on his country on the 24th of February, again underlining what seems...
On his country? Fuck's sake, man! Dictator-in-chief!
Seems to be quite a special relationship that's forming, and in terms of European power.
You know what, Paul? See, calling democracy mob rule, man, that's spot on. In the sense that it isn't ruled by majority, which we're all sold. That's the scam behind it. It is the people that can organise the biggest mob to hit you over the head the hardest, to fucking tell you to shut the fuck up. I went to start myself, by the way, when I held my own elections. I held my own elections, can't remember what year, but I was standing outside with my voting box, and all the wee SNP Nazi bastards were there. And all they would do, I was trying to explain to them that I was voting us, not them. And of course, fuck. in hindsight, I can understand why they think I was a bit of a madman, but they didn't even like fucking listen to the concept. They just wanted to laugh, mock, and point and fucking go, "Sie kann the sturgeon!"
The UK really does stand out as being the one that that was first to come in, providing these anti-tank missiles. The Prime Minister talked about these NLAWs that are very popular. There's been lots of memes and social.
Yeah, lots of memes. They're very popular. They're beautiful. Now remember, when Ukrainians use British-supplied anti-tank missiles on tanks, it turns them into My Little Ponies and rainbows, and the soldiers turn into poofs and she starts skipping down the road going, "Woo! Let's go to Putin!" and try and chat up Vladimir Putin. That's what these missiles do, of course. Because Ukrainians aren't killing people. They're not fucking raping, pillaging and fucking doing all sorts of atrocities in Donbass. They're not fucking flattening fucking residential areas and hitting anywhere they can and have got the ability to, that they think that the enemy may be. No. They're all firing My Little Ponies and fucking Care Bears with rainbow guns. Fact.
Media activity praising the British NLAWs, anti-tank missiles that have been used to great effect against Russian tanks, and also anti-aircraft missiles that have exploded Russian helicopters out of the sky. But it has to be said that while, yes, the British effort and support is hugely welcome, the fact that Britain's own armed forces don't have an endless stockpile of artillery and missiles to be able to give to the Ukrainians in their hour of need, as Boris Johnson said, must be giving the government, you'd hope, back in London, pause for thought in terms of decades of underinvestment in UK defence. It really is a time like this where, as Boris Johnson spelt out so clearly...
Cheris, I'm of the poor spectrum, so I don't have any great love for mega rich people or anything like that, right? But I would like to think if I won the lottery one day or whatever quirk of fate happened and I became mega rich and I bought shit, I would like to think that because of what country I came from, the fucking governments of the world couldn't just collaborate together, conspire together to steal my fucking shit. Because that's exactly what happened. I mean, they can't actually say these people are guilty of anything. What was let's use Abramovich. What was Abramovich guilty of? Right? Buying a state state resource that was moving from public to private hands, buying it and making it profitable and making money off it. Making a lot of money. You know, I wonder how many. I would love to do people could do this. You could do your research. I guarantee there's fucking lords sitting in the House of Lords in the UK that made a fucking fortune off the railways, the water, the electricity, the gas, the telephone, everything that was made that was public, that was made private, and do you think that was all sold fucking on the open market, fucking all fair and above board? Bullshit!
Democracy, the ideas of democracy, freedoms, under threat in a really unambiguous way here in Ukraine, where Western countries are coming to Ukraine's aid. There is obviously only a finite amount that they can do if their own militaries don't have sufficient weapons to be able to keep sustaining this effort, which is obviously what Ukraine wants. And yes, the package that the British government is announcing, this £300 million more of military equipment, that will be hugely welcome. Night vision goggles, very important. The ability to be able to use radars to pinpoint these artillery, the Russian artillery that is imposed.
Why don't you just give them soldiers?
Using such punishment on Ukrainian forces, also really important. Ukrainians right now need more artillery.
No, Paul, come on. You've got that wrong. We don't have oligarchs. We just have the House of Lords. Our oligarchs have even got a fucking club. A gentleman's club, man. And do you know what? See if you're a good little fucking slave, and you're a good little MP, and you do fucking good little fucking shit like fucking Tony fucking Snake Blair and all that, I'm pretty sure he's been made a lord. I might stand corrected, but if you do well as an MP, suck enough cock, grease enough fucking poles, you get made a lord.
Artillery. They need more Western artillery, longer range guns, they need ammunition, they need planes, they need tanks. And unfortunately for the UK, they don't have the sufficient volume to be able to step up and meet that demand, which is why, of course, they're doing all they can to help Ukraine access those weapons via other means, and obviously other European countries, and most notably the United States, very much part of this effort too.
Stewie, I don't know much about military hardware and all that, right? But like, I don't know if you're alluding to the missiles being worth millions each. I think you might be right. I'm not 100% sure, but when I heard somebody talking about it, I think those missiles are worth over $1 million a pop. And as I think you're touching on, like, they're definitely going to be turning up in the fucking black market, aren't they? Definitely.
Okay, Deborah, thank you very much for that. Well, our political correspondent Ali Fortescue is in Westminster. And of course, Ali, we're just a couple of days away from the local elections. There have been some gentle accusations from other parties that perhaps the Prime Minister's announcement of that this money is fortuitous in terms of the elections, but they're certainly backing his motivation, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think, the government know that Boris Johnson has done well on Ukraine, and the Lib Dems, as you say, have today suggested that the timing is interesting, given the fact that we're just a couple of days out from local elections. They would rather be focusing on domestic issues, things like the cost of living. But I think there's no doubt that this was definitely a significant moment. This is the first time that a world leader since this war started has addressed the Ukrainian parliament, addressed Ukrainian MPs. And we heard Boris Johnson's, I think,
It'd have been well funny if the Russians blew up the parliament with Bobo on it, man. That'd have been brilliant.
An epic chapter, Ukraine's finest.
Well, not really, because it would have been war.
Really as a battle of good versus evil. He said this was
still would have been funny.
Right versus wrong. He said that this was Putin's historic folly and brute force of an aggressor. So strong sort of wartime
microwave plasma shields. What the fuck is that, Cheris?
The significant announcement really was that £300 million in terms of military aid is going to be delivered, and we know that the government were amongst the earliest to send military aid to Ukraine. That is something that has been perceived to have been handled well by Boris Johnson. But on other areas,
putting the Ukrainians on the yachts, give them to our homeless.
The government have faced.
Fucking let the Ukrainians fight it out themselves. If they want to fucking pick a fight with Russia, batter in.
On the sponsorships scheme, only 15% of those people have actually made it into this country. The Prime Minister himself this morning, speaking to ITV News, said that things could have moved faster. He's now facing the prospect of legal threats.
And remember, folks, if you appreciate the Wag the Dog News, stick a wee thumbs up.
Campaign groups to the Home Secretary
Monday to Friday, 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
So this hasn't been a perfect war, if you like.
Where the hell's the time in this?
Certainly, I think this was a significant.
I think this is about half an hour.
As I say, the first time that a world leader has addressed Ukrainian MPs since this war started.
Thanks very much, Ali. Let's get a look at some of the day's other news now. And BP has reported its best quarterly results in a decade amid soaring global prices of oil and gas. The company reported an underlying replacement cost profit of $6.2 billion for the first 3 months of the year, up from $2.6 billion
underlying profit.
Year. But it was hit by a $24.5 billion write-down of its 19.75% stake in the Russian oil giant Rosneft and 2 other joint ventures. Well, that meant that BP reported a headline loss of $20.4 billion for the first quarter. However, it has announced an £18 billion investment in the UK over the next 8 years, which would include money for North Sea oil. And
British Petroleum is going to benefit from all this shit against the Ruskies, isn't they?
Investigating how an
products going up.
To be a priest reportedly
Their profits are going up.
Barracks with Royal Guardsmen close to Windsor Castle. An army spokesman said the army takes the
If Boris sung "We Are the Champions," that would have been sweet, Paul. Definitely.
A young woman who almost died of cancer has become one of the first in the UK to give birth following an innovative treatment. Sammy Gray, who's 26, feared chemotherapy had left her infertile, but has gone on to have a son after CAR T cell therapy trained her body to fight back against the disease. Lovely story. Let's get a look at the weather. Is it so
Come
lovely?
and get your new therapy. Right, there we go. That's the end of that.
Warm memories wherever you go.
I'm looking outside my window and I don't think I want to hear about the weather right now.
Fairly cloudy today, with a scattering of showers and more general showery
Told
rain
you.
for the northwest later. Most places will be mild, especially the southwest, but it'll be cool near North Sea coasts. Wales, southwest England and the east of Ireland can expect sunny spells and a scattering of showers going into the second half of the afternoon. Some heavy and thundery. They're largely clear to the western Midlands later. Elsewhere, most places will be cloudy with some fog on the hills and perhaps the odd light shower.
Sorry, I'm actually interested in the weather. Woo! British after all, man.
Breaks of rain will spread across much of the UK tonight, but
So there's
eastern
going to be a wee
Scotland
bit of
and the
rain
far
tonight.
southwest look like staying mainly dry. Northern
Easy
Ireland
peasy.
will
So there's a
mostly
wee
dry.
bit of Sky News. Yesterday I done the GB News and whatnot, man. Today I obviously done that. So it is. Hold on. Okay, those links. Force field invisibility shield. New technology. You've been serious, Cheris, or taking the piss, or? Oh, you've dropped some links there. I'll need to go and check them later when I can go and do the jiggery pokery. Anyway, Russian symbol guy, Cheris Paul, Roberto, Age of Crocodile. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll do a wee hour, Monday to Friday. Diary permitting. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll go live a wee ball here before 1 and hopefully pick up one of the news streams at the top of the hour and get the afternoon news. And I'll try and do a wee spattered variety of different news and views. And remember, if you do appreciate it, stick a wee thumbs up. That's much appreciated. So, Age of Crackshot, thanks for joining the debate, my man. Stewie, thanks for joining. Roberto, thanks for joining, my man. Oh, well, mate, I will, Cheris. I love that kind of stuff, man. What is it, they bend the light or some shit? Is it like Predator technology, like cloaks? Or is it like just for boats where in the distance it can give you the haze or something? Do you know what I mean? Like, see if you were having a boat in the distance, you can understand how you could kind of camouflage that to the nth degree by, like, you know, blending it in with the sea. It would be easier. It is hard to work the truth out sometimes, buddy, definitely. But understanding that is definitely a positive. You're less likely to fall for the fundamentalist bullshit out there and just more likely to take in a broad spectrum of bullshit. So, I'm going to do the off. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Stick a wee thumbs up if you did appreciate it and like it. And tune in tomorrow. I think I will be here every day this week apart from Thursday. I might not be able to make it on Thursday, but I might re-record something. Okie dokie, boob tubes. have a good one, and I shall see yous all next time. Catchies. Aye, exactly, Roberto. Try and stay positive. The fucking, look, listen. The positives, the silver lining. There was a war in Ukraine, it cured COVID. That's what I'm happy about. What's war? Huh? Yeah. What is it good for? Curing fucking COVID. Sing it again. Woo! War. Huh? Yeah. What is it good for? Curing fucking COVID. Sing it again. Catchies. Cips clips. And remember, citizens, always subscribe and hit the bell. Everything will be well in 1995. Plus shipping and handling will keep you out of hell. Why does a dog wag its tail? Because a dog is smarter than its tail. If the tail were smarter, the tail would wag the dog. Wag the dog in politics is the act of creating diversion from a damaging issue. Here at Wag the Dog News, the tail doesn't wag the dog. Enjoy. Cips clip. And remember, citizens, always subscribe. Hit the bell. Everything will be well. 1995. Plus shipping and handling will keep